they are, 1, 2, and 3. And I'm thinking maybe we could do something like that in resale. We could rank by how useful it is. We could rank by the quality, cost per wearing type thing. That would be kind of an interesting topic, don't you think?
I love that idea. It's like a super great idea. Um, let's make sure that we're live here. It says we're live on our end. So let me see here if we are live, and we are, but I'm not sure. Let's pull that. Okay. Every week, Kate. Here we are. Yes, perfect.
Are we live?
We're live every week. Every week. I think that's a great idea because I do, like, a friend of mine recently introduced me to Soft Surroundings, and I do shop by their like warm, cuddly things in the wintertime, of course. But I shop by that rating, and I think it's a really awesome rating. I love when there are some store owners that I've seen who rate items on condition wise, and they'll be like, out of a 10, I'm going to give this an 8, and it's a strong 8 because of this and this and this. But it's a great idea.
Yeah, I've seen Melissa do that with the designer bags, and it's really helpful to the people who aren't actually, in the room with the item that they're thinking of buying, rating something like that. So that's something to keep in mind, folks, as part of your marketing toolkit. And we're going to talk today on Coffee with Colleen and Kate. My pilot here is Colleen. I'm Kate Holmes from TooGoodToBeThrough.com, tgtbt.com. And let me introduce Colleen.
Good morning. Hi, everybody. I'm Colleen Lloyd Roberts, and I am the co-founder of Monkeys and Hats Digital Marketing and E-commerce. And we have our coffee. I'm drinking out of a super fancy coffee mug today just because today is National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. So I am wearing my pajamas to work right now. Yep, these are my wintertime pajamas because they are from Soft Surroundings, and it's a little chilly here this morning. But if you have meetings with me later on this afternoon, you'll see me get my more summery Kate Spade pajamas out later on in the day. But I thought it would just be fun. National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. So to feel kind of fancy, I broke out the super fine pretty china, so I felt fancy. And Kate has a great mug. That looks like a handmade mug that she's enjoying her coffee out of. And all right, let's get started, everybody. Please chime in with questions, comments. And so, Kate, kick us off. We have a really interesting topic today.
Well, today's topic is what is worth it? Is there a way? Everybody thinks about how much they're paying their staff. They very seldom think about how much they're earning and how to work on what they're doing to earn more per hour. How do you give yourself a raise? That's what Colleen and I came up with as a topic for today. What is worth it? Okay, so first of all, is the definition of the word it? What is worth it? You need to set a goal first before you can do all of this stuff. You need to set a goal for what you want to earn. It can be $10,000 a year. It can be $1 million a year. It doesn't matter. That's strictly between you and your brain. You're not going to be telling anybody that. But then you take that number and you divide it by the hours you work. Now, when the Department of Labor talks about hours worked, they always talk about 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, times 52 weeks is 2,080 hours. And some people subtract the 80 because they're giving people 2 weeks off. But we don't work that way. We don't work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. We feel like we're working all the time. So sit down and really think about, okay, what number am I actually working on my shop? And of course, all of us will say, oh, I work on it all the time. When I'm out to dinner with my husband, I'm thinking about the shop. But Colleen has a really, really good point about productivity. None of us are working, flat out for 8 hours a day, for 6 hours a day, for 12 hours a day. So Colleen, how do we have a figure that will give us a realistic idea of how hard we're working and what my hourly rate might work out to.
So Kate, that I read this book by Dan Kennedy called I read this several years ago called the Kick Butt, No BS Kick Butt Time Management Book for Entrepreneurs. Like literally that is the title of the book. And I was running a mastermind group at the time, so we had all read the book. And even if you read the first chapter, like buy that book and read the first chapter, it's really, really life-changing for two reasons. Number one is he gives you this formula, which Kate is alluding to, that I'm going to talk about in a second. He gives you this formula about how to figure out what your hourly rate is. And when you figure out your hourly rate, you actually become more productive because you don't waste time on things that you could pay someone else to do for that amount of money. But what I also want to say is in that very, very, very first chapter, he talks about how, yes, we all have a passion for our business and there's an underlying reason for why we do what we do. But he says that most entrepreneurs lose sight of the fact that really you own a business to make money. And we end up putting everyone else first and forgetting to make a salary for ourselves and saying like, why, like, I want to make $1 million. I want to personally make $1 million. So you need to figure out how you can make yourself a salary for $1 million. What do you need to do? I'm just saying that in general, not me, but I do want to make $1 million. But anyway, the whole idea is that you need to set a goal. And he's like, most people do not set that goal. So the very first thing that Kate talked about is setting that goal is like uber important. And then the next thing is we're not all productive 8 hours every day in terms of revenue generating. So what you do is you take that goal. Let's say you have a goal of $200,000 and your goal is I want to have an income of $200,000. You divide that by 220 days times, wait a minute, divided by, oh, no, I did it. You divide it by 1,760. So what you're going to do is take your ideal salary, you're going to divide it by 1,760, and 1,760 are the number of work hours in a year. That constitutes that you get 2 days off. That takes into play the holidays. And then you're going to get like your base hourly number. But as Kate was talking about, we don't all work 8 hours a day. So you have to then factor out percentage. Most people kind of go by 30%, but if you really feel that you're productive 40 or 50 or 60% of your day, and by productive, we're talking about revenue generating productivity. So you would take that number then and multiply it, and I'll write this in the comments below so you can see it, but you take that number and you multiply it by like 30% or 40%, and then you actually get what your time is worth per hour. Makes sense? A little complicated, but I'll write it out in the comments below. Kate?
Colleen is using the figures from the book, which is that 1760 or 1765. I was saying to go ahead and figure out what you actually work, but don't put in those hours that you're just thinking about your store. That's what the productivity rate is all about. Yeah, you're thinking about your store. Yeah, you're coming up with ideas, but I don't know whether you can really count that. I mean, you don't want to divide your goal by too many hours, because then you'd be underpaying yourself. I figured out, I did a little example here. Let's say you want to earn $70,000 a year. A little bit more pessimistic, I guess, than Colleen. If you, $17,000 a year equals $1,350 a week, equals $33 an hour if you work, excuse me, if you work 40 hours a week. So $33 an hour is not a lot of money. I think it's pretty easy to figure out what you could be doing to up that $33 an hour and thereby give yourself a raise. Are you doing something that's worth $33 this hour? If you are colorizing the earrings, my famous example, or if you are messing around on social media, You know from watching your staff that once you get on social media, even if you're trying to post, 3 pictures of the 3 designer bags that you got in here today, it's going to take you longer than you think because you're going to get sidetracked. So you might want to keep a little timesheet by yourself for a while, and every 15 minutes write down what you did for the last 15 minutes, and you'll get that productivity factor going. The productivity factor can't be, as Colleen says, can't be 100%. None of us are productive 100% of the time. If nothing else, we're drinking coffee and going to the bathroom. But you need to get a base figure of what you're earning now and be able to say, I need to earn $33 an hour to make it to that $70,000 goal. But if I'm washing windows, which I can hire a kid for $10 a week to do, it's a bad use of my time. So the whole little exercise of what's worth it is simply to help you decide where you need help, when you need help, what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. A lot of us sit there and we'll go through Google to try to find a free image to use on a blog post or on our website or on a social media post, and we'll spend 20 minutes looking for a free picture instead of grabbing that first one that you like, which actually costs $1, and using it and paying the darn dollar. It'd be much better to pay that darn dollar. It'd be much better to pay the window washer. It would be much better to eliminate things which aren't making you money. And there's a lot of stuff in all of our lives which aren't making us money. So I guess that's kind of the point that we wanted to get across to you today. While we're sitting here having coffee, Colleen, what have I missed out on?
I don't think you missed on anything, but I did think of something really funny. So technically, Kate, if you carried around an IV bag and wore a diaper, you could be productive 8 hours a day. That was my thought on that. But the other thing is that there's also a really, really awesome really awesome book called The 4-Hour Work Week, which is really popular. You can pick that up on Amazon as well. And so the whole idea is really about learning how to leverage your time so that what happens is you want to end up leveraging your time so you have more people getting more things done, but you are being more productive as well in your time. So your time investment goes down, but your productivity goes up. And that's really another way of how you can give yourself a raise. Because if you just go by the numbers that we presented today, you might be thinking in your head, this is what I thought when I first did this scenario several years ago. I thought, well, Jesus, I'm going to have to work all the time according to this thing. And I'm like, I want to not do that. I really want to figure out. And then when I continued to read the book, but when I coupled it with the 4-hour work week, the strategy then became how to create more systems and how to duplicate yourself and create more systems and hire more of the right people around you and figure out ways to increase the productivity that way so that your personal earnings continue to go up. And when your earnings go up, your hourly rate that you earn goes up. So interesting, we just all did our taxes, and I run this formula every year now after I do my taxes. I take a look at my numbers and then I run through my formula, but then I also look at my new numbers, my new goals for the coming year, and I run this formula. And sometimes I even do it a couple times throughout the year to just kind of check in and see where I'm at so that you continue to know that you're making progress throughout the year and you're giving yourself a raise. Because if you're not really making any change, then all of a sudden the year will be up and you'll be like, oh, I just made the same amount that I did last year, or I'm down, or I'm only up a little bit. So if you continue to look at this formula and run it, you can check in and say, okay, wait a minute, I'm, yay me, I'm ahead, or I'm where I want to be, or gosh, I need to make some changes. I recently had a big aha moment. I've run into some people that I haven't seen in a while. Several different people, very strangely, several different people I haven't seen in a while. And oddly enough, they're all in the same position that they were when I last saw them several years ago. They haven't changed. And that was just like a really big aha moment for me because I thought, wow, they haven't improved, they haven't changed, they haven't moved forward, they haven't, and these are all people that I knew through networking, and they had these goals and they had all these things they wanted to do. And so I really want to, like really encourage you all to like do this formula and check in on your productivity and give yourself a raise. You all deserve it. You all work really hard and you have such great intentions and your stores are amazing and you guys are amazing and you all deserve a raise. Raises for everybody.
Instead of soup, no soup for you, it's raises for everybody. Well, you spent about 15 minutes listening to us, and at the rate that I gave for that example, that was $8. Do you think that what Colleen and I talked about today was worth $8 of your time? Hopefully it was. Hopefully. The people that I worry about, Colleen, are not necessarily the people that are hiring you, but the people who are struggling to even break even. I see so many people who have shops that are 3, 5 years old, and they work by themselves, and they get a little frustrated. They love their store, they love their customers, they love what they're doing, they love their mission, but, like you said, we're in this business to make money. So those are the people that I worry about, and I'm constantly advising them to do this formula, to figure this out, and to realize that if you did hire somebody to do the things that they can do and concentrate on the things that only you can do, all of those figures will go up, including your net profit, which is the whole point of the deal. Now, there's an interesting fun fact that I'd like to close with, and the fun fact is that experts say that it takes 10,000 hours of practice for you to become good at something, whether it's playing the bassoon, whether it's knitting, whether it's driving. 10,000 hours. Now, based on our formulas there, that means more than 5 years. So if you're less than 5 years old in your business, relax. It's okay. You're a learner. You're still got your learner's permit or the little L on the back of your car. Go ahead and run these figures, see what you're actually making, compare it to what you want to make, and decide how you're going to get from level 1 to level 2. That's our thought for the day.
And that's a great ending note because I know that, you mentioned not everyone can afford us, but I want you to know that I didn't start here. Like I started, not too long ago, but like I started where I, wasn't making what I wanted to make or what I needed to make. And that was my point with these. When I shared that story about how people that I know, like they haven't changed, like they just, their lives are still where they're the same place when I saw them several years ago. And so along the lines, Kate, of what you're telling everyone is I just really want to encourage everyone to just make some tiny little changes. And I know that when you're working all day, every day by yourself and the budget is really low and we're talking about going and hiring people and you're like, oh my God, like I can barely pay the electric bill or whatever. Like I totally get it. I totally get it. But just find tiny little ways that you can change to increase your productivity or do something a little bit differently. And I think that's where it all has to start. Just do something differently than you're currently doing. Run these numbers, know what your number is. Because all of a sudden when someone calls you up and is like, hey, can you like bring this over? Like I get this all the time. I have this nail file company and some of my friends and people locally, they're like, hey, can you like meet me somewhere? Can you bring me some nail files? And I'm like, no, because my time is worth way more than the $3.45 or the $5 that it's going to cost to ship you the nail files. So no, like pay for the shipping, like, and like people always ask that, can you bring some nail files? Can you meet me? I have another girlfriend who's notorious for like, do you want to save on shipping? Let's order some things together. And then I have to go meet her to split up our order. And guess what? Nope. I end up paying for the whole order and then I just ship her stuff because I don't have time to do that. So that's where when you do this formula, you get that number and you will just like be like, wow, like really, truly. I hope you all weigh back in and share with us some bells and whistles maybe that went off after you ran your number.
Just one little point. Colleen's talking about taking a little step. You know, you don't need to reinvent your life this week. And I think one of the very, very first steps you could do is to gather all those resources. You've got bookmarks on your computer, you've got bookmarks on your phone, you've got notes, you've got files. Sometimes when I talk to people and I say, well, you know, it's in this product for the professional reseller, or it's in the manual, where they go, oh yeah, I should get that out again. You know, gather your resources and think, oh, that was a good idea. I think I'm going to try that this week, and build on it. You know, again, you're just beginning your journey to that $1 million.
Absolutely. So I just want to thank everyone for watching, Kate. So shout outs to Judy Connor. Good morning. Good morning, Paulette and Krita and Heather and Dawn. Dawn, I can't believe you're not somewhere on vacation. Dawn Gonzalez is always on vacation. Vina, good morning, Vina. And Jana, good morning. Nancy, Ellen, Tiffany. Tiffany says, thanks for helping me pick out my outfit. Hey, you're welcome, girl. I got your back today. And Angie, good morning. And Jody. So thank you all for tuning in live. And if you're watching us on demand, if you have questions, comments, and share some thoughts, like share your own thoughts about anything that we talked about today. And we've got a great topic for next week. We're going to talk next week about being positive in your business. And so that's going to be our topic for next week. Everyone have a super great week. And Kate, what does your mom always say?
Well, I'm going to edit what my mama always says about sell something, and I'm going to edit it for this week, and I'm going to say to you, learn something. Figure out something that's going to give yourself a raise. Thanks, folks, for watching us.
Perfect.
Bye now.
Bye, everyone.